5 seconds remaining.
Definitely. It just gives you a lot more. I think it's the push that Adroit is looking for. And again, taking away those Chen creeps, that's basically the only reasoning I'd see for the Enigma pickup. I like that Clockwork pick early on as well. We know how much Bach can get done with that hero. Once he's given enough space, he can really dominate the lane as long as he has a lane partner to help support him. And we should be seeing that investment from Adroit. They haven't really been playing. Does play a greedy hero. He does maintain some laning presence early on. Adroit do jump into the Riki. There are some great targets in the backline. Don't have the best lockdown with these supports from TNC
remaining.
to keep that Riki locked in. Should be able to find a lot of leeway here for the targets you go for from Adroit, but TNC go immediately into the Slardar. Classic counter to the Riki. Gives you, constant vision. Riki's already not the tankiest target. Slardar is going to amplify that by a big amount. And you're going to have a lot of possibilities here for TNC. And it is really strong in lane. You've got that Rubik Slardar lane now, which is it's just as potent as the Centaur Rubik lane that we've been seeing a lot of. So a lot of potential there for TNC to just completely shut down that safe lane as well.
Radiant team pick.
Lich.
Definitely.
Five seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's not the biggest threat here for TNC. The one thing I see coming out for Adroit spec in that is it does mitigate some of the value you're getting from that Corrosive Haze, so you are kind of dropping down that amplification coming out from the Slardar, so in that sense, it's a great pick. It's a solid laner to have. I think Lich Riki is okay. You blink in, you get the Frost Arm on yourself, it is pretty strong. TNC with a Lycan, though. But this is going to be a bit of an issue for Adroit. They don't have the best ways of keeping that hero in it, but it's going to allow TNC to really just run you down very early on. Like, taking objectives and taking heroes is going to be very easy for TNC. 6 on Lycan, 6 on Slardar, even in Chen. Like, Lycan Chen just means your objectives are really not going to stand. There's so much sustain going on here for TNC. You would want to see an early investment in, like, a Spirit Vessel, perhaps, for Adroit. The issue is they don't really have a natural carrier there. Perhaps a Clockwork could build into that. It is a bit of a slow build-up for a hero like that, unless you're finding those early kills. So already, I think with what you have on hand, TNC is looking a lot stronger with the initial draft.
Dire team pick.
Queen
Oh,
of
man.
Pain.
You really can't. It's a big challenge. I think the best choice would have been an Ember Spirit, which Adroit is forced to ban out because they didn't have first pick in the last phase. So they're going to have to go for something else. It's going to be down to their mid laner. Maybe something like the Puck, just to give them a little bit more control. That is potentially the answer here. It has decent wave clear as well, about that. So it can give you a little bit more in terms of keeping that Lycan in his place, in terms of preventing massive influx of heroes just chasing you down. You have that Dream Coil to play with. Puck would be a decent response. It doesn't fix all of their issues. I do think that TNC does have the draft-wise. If they played like they did in Game 1, I don't see why this draft wouldn't work out for them here in
Dragon Knight.
Well done, whoever did that. Let's just play Dota 2 now, jeez.
It had
now
some wave
select your
clear.
hero.
Breed Fire can melt some of those creeps. It gives you a little bit push of your own once you hit that level 6 as well. So there is some value in that DK. It's a tanky hero. It wouldn't care too much about the early levels of Corrosive Haze at very least. It doesn't quite give you the lockdown you need to keep that Lycan in this place and the Queen of Pain. So you're going to have to choose which hero you're going to prevent from running away or get under control first, and then kind of jump onto that. It's a solid last pick for Adroit, right? It's not going to lose out the lane against Queen of Pain too hard. Armel should still have a slight edge, but Mac isn't going to be entirely bullied out as the lane goes on. He's going to have decent enough sustaining himself, punching out some harass. I still feel like TNC's draft is going to hit better timing. I think if they maintain that playstyle we saw in game 1, if they manage to give Gabby the space he needs, and KP the space he needs, play around, dominate their lanes, then Adroit is going to struggle a bit. They need a lot of farm and Natsumi to make that. They're going to need some investment into Mac as well. You'd want one item plus a BKB or a Blink Dagger to get yourself going there. You're not going to be able to stand in front without that BKB, well, with all the magic damage coming out on TNC's side. So there's a lot here that Adroit has to buy time for.
There will be pain. You hurt the ones you love.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy though. Like, even if they are relying on just not bleeding around this laning phase, Ricky is not the strongest laner, and do have potential there with the Lich, especially once Lich hits level 2 with a Frost Shield. So you can just lay the damage on with a Ricky, but that stands at a massive risk. You're probably going to be laning against KP. He's a very tanky hero. He has a lot of lockdown, so if you do commit for trying to find that kill, you could find yourself in a rough situation. Well,
Just enough time to make a cup of tea.
You hurt the
nice early
ones
D
you
wards coming out from TNC, taking out that mid ward. So March already shutting out some information from Adroit. That's just going to make rotations for the for I believe the runes much harder for Mac. He's not going to be aware where he should head to.
Please just bear in mind I'm trying my best here. The eternal struggle betwixt creep and creep lumbers on.
It's not going to be easy for the first 3 levels. It's definitely going to be something the Queen of Pain can abuse quite nicely. Even by level 4, you can still kind of draw ahead, but I don't see Mac being bullied out too hard, as long as he doesn't lose too much HP. Just has to play it safe initially, then he can kind of tiptoe around that line.
Money for you.
Definitely. I like the commitment from TNC to try to scout out Boomy. I mean, they got an early ward deep in that jungle to block the camp. Boomy did have a D ward, but immediately Tim's is just looking around that jungle. They don't want to give any space to Adroit, and they are finally starting to punish these greedier pos 4 picks.
First blood, and I didn't miss it.
Anyone could see that it was your time. No, no.
It's not too much synergy there in that lane. I'd say you'd be better off maybe trying to scout out Boomy instead of having Tims do that. You are a Chen, you're gonna be in that jungle anyway. I think that's a better distribution. But Tims is doing a good job. Like, he's not actually doing too bad hunting down Boomy. It's not a free time for Enigma, although this is costing Tims his initial early levels. They've got a nice forward ward to always see where Boomy is, so it's just a constant game of tag there for those two supports. This is really weakening the presence of Bok, though. As a solo clock up against Lycan, there's just not much you can really offer in that lane. You already see Gabby pulling away quite nicely, 18-7 compared to Bok's 12-3. He's not going to be completely shut out of this lane, so you should still find that EXP as the clock. But Gabby is definitely going to reach pretty much free farm status here.
You hurt the ones you love.
Rubik the Unseen? Why, yes.
Yeah. Just the weakness of that as a core just doesn't really manage to do too much. It needs EXP, but it also wants to win that early laning phase, so you have to do a balancing act. In this case, they just don't play that balancing act, leave Bok alone. Definitely. Just a farming lane, and both sides are going to be happy. I think Armel does have the flexibility of dipping into a lot more, although he doesn't have levels in Blink, but he is much more confident in being far forward.
I'll take that.
Tims is still... He's halfway through level 1 now. So, progress. They've got wards now from Adroit. They know where Tims is chasing. It's just kind of funny. So much commitment from TNC. I like that. It's just really sacrificing Rubik. But Boomy hasn't had the freest run. He's still just about to hit 3. Not been a good, speedy run for our Enigmas.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They've got the Chen.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The issue here for Adroit is that there's really no lane for our Ricky to be in. He can try to go bot. If you look at Gabby, he's at level 7 on the Lycan, way ahead of everyone else. And That's still not a good matchup for Natsumi. At the very least, he's not going to be stunned out. But the damage potential from our Lycan is way up there now.
Bad dude's top is all nasty and brokey.
Ooh. Carmel. Oh no.
Your green dudes, something bad is happening. In your bottom.
Will allow TNC to start applying that pressure on the mid tier 1. With all the creeps they have with the Lycan around, this should be a lot of damage, although the Fortify is enough to dissuade him. That just allows Gabby to farm with her own jungle. The dire jungle being invaded now by TNC, limiting the space of Adroit to farming.
Invisibility.
Catch KP out. They're trying to go for this kill.
Dire's courier has been killed. Bad dudes, middle tower, everyone, go, now!
Abby now being chased down by Mac as well. Not gonna go for the commitment. They did get the Dragon Tail off
Dire's middle
cooldown
tower
right
is
then,
under
but
attack.
they want
Why
to
is
give
this so
chase.
bloody difficult?
Gabby should be fine. He did have shapeshift. Nice kills down bot for Adroit. They are still quite a fair bit behind. 4K behind the 10 minutes in. Gabby now shapeshift.
That's a super!
My thrift rewarded you. Jackpot!
He's just so far ahead. He's level 10. 10 minutes in. Way further ahead than a lot of the heroes on the side of Adroit are completely mismatched right now in terms of EXP. The only one really close is Mac, and he's at level 8. So that huge deficit is coming into play here. Adroit losing out in their tier 1 mid. No contest. TNC 5k ahead at 10 minutes in. The map is really shrinking fast for Adroit, and they just don't have any way to respond just yet.
Didn't see that coming.
They're gonna need that done a lot of times. There's a lot of pressure on Bach to find these isolated heroes, to get that gap closed, get the damage out, get the control out, because he is really it. That's the best way they have of starting these fights. They might go and commit onto Tim's. They do scout out.
Bad dudes, middle
It's another
tower,
move.
everyone, go, now! Your green dudes, something bad is happening. In your bottom. Radiant structures are fortified.
Rage will What you see is what gets you.
No way they can contest this. They do have the hook shot. If they were aware they could try to go for something, it is going to be a bit too late. That is a free Roche by the way of TNC. First Roche of the game. And they can't deal with 2 lives. Like, give the Aegis to Armel. You already don't have a way of keeping that Queen of Pain in place. Even if you did, you probably don't have enough damage to burn her twice over.
That's a twofer! Got him, Humor!
Going for where right.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Yo, green dudes, something bad is happening. In your
Just way too much from TNC. Way too big of a lead in terms of EXP and items. 7k advantage. They melt that tier 2 up top. I'm surprised Adroit is still trying to go for those defenses so shoddily. They need to rely on Bonk to break up TNC first and then go to follow-up. They cannot just walk in like that. They can't afford to.
Manly. Did you see me?
It's just easy. I mean, the Ricky has nothing. Doesn't have smoke screen. Doesn't have enough damage to reverse anyone down. We saw him try to chase the Rubik earlier on. Very limited effect. It took a while to get that kill. The needs to get the team fight going. They need Boomy to step up, or at the very least, they need to keep relying on Bach. They can't go in when the Clockwork's not the one committing first. He needs to set the pace for Adroit here. He needs to find the targets they want to isolate and burn out. They can't afford to initiate with anyone else first. They are not set up for it.
You hurt the ones you love.
Rattle of yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. That bottom tower you bad dudes had was crap anyway, don't
It's
sweat.
ridiculous. There's just no punishment coming out from Adroit for this lineup. They went with another greedy draft. They have kind of found what they wanted. They've got the EXP. They don't have the items, and they're still waiting for the mech from Boomy. So you're not going to see any sort of plays coming out from him. All he will bring is sustain. We haven't seen the Eidolons really play out in a big push just yet. It's just been a farm fest for Adroit, and TNC are happy to punish that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They save their Lich. They're still going to lose that objective anyway. They're trying to trade with tier 1 up top. Even then, they're shoved out.
Oh no!
No! The Chain Frost killed one of the Necro creeps, and the damage killed off CML. The shock, it's just a Chain Frost. He hooked! Oh man. That's the state of the game for Adroit. They're so far behind that they have to commit Chain Frost for the summons and the hook shot for the summons. I mean, TNC has maintained that lead, so they haven't widened it. So there's still some way, in some weird way, Adroit is kind of keeping up. Not really. I mean, at the very least, they're not having that lead widen for TNC, so TNC aren't pulling away any more than they were on, which means Adroit does have certain ways of coming back in here. You really need a lot more Natsumi. Take a look at that, Ricky. In terms of net worth, 5.9k, which is great. 6k behind the Queen of Pain, so he's actually number 3. It feels way worse than that relative, though. He still has to finish up at least that refusal. Even then, I don't think that's going to be enough. TNC, their Aegis does expire, so there might be a little bit more caution from them going into these fights. Maybe they wait out the next Roche before going to the high ground. They could at least find us tier 2 perhaps down mid. Don't know if they're going to be going for the high ground yet. They have to kind of be cautious about the black hole.
Green Dude's top thing is about to get knocked over.
Oh, they'll go.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
9k ahead, and Adroit is scattered out. Definitely not. Did you see the damage on Gabby when he right-clicked someone? I don't think the mech's gonna give them enough. It'll buy them like a second.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Guys! Radiant structures are fortified.
Talked about what Adroit has to do though. They rely on getting the hook shot isolation kill to really bounce back in. When they're expending these hook shots to get their clock out, you're not really gaining anything. You're preventing a death, sure, but you're not finding anything on the map. The only person outside is Boom. He's the one taking the free laning farm with his Eidolons. And what is he going to build into? He has the mech up, he has a crown up, doesn't have anything queued up. Maybe he goes for a fast blink, but then you have to remember the Rubik is there. Timps is there to steal that black hole, so it's never going to be saved.
Own it!
It's just a slow whittling away. We're not going to commit the heroes up. Couldn't melt it like that. No heroes right clicking.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
Death's bounty.
That should help.
Definitely don't. They've got the control they need. It's going to be much easier for them to start sieging onto those racks now. Of course, it does feel like they are just kind of waiting out for another objective. The Roche is going to be up fairly early, less than 40 seconds away. That is something TNC can look to secure before going to the high ground. While all of this is happening, you do finally see Natsumi going a bit deeper to get some farm. Going does have the diffusal up on the rig. I don't think that's going to be enough. He's saving up for a Battle Fury next. That doesn't really fix any of the issues. Battle Fury on Ricky is great. We see it a lot, but when you're this far behind, I don't think it's just giving you enough.
Going from bad to worse, now the bad dude's middle racks is getting shafted. Oh, humanity! Going from bad to worse, now the bad dude's middle racks is getting shafted.
Adroit at least finds one. They managed to find one kill. That does give them a little bit of an ejection that will dissuade TNC from action for now. They don't have too long to wait. Did have to trade away their own offlaner for that, so it is a bit of an even get more in the end because it's that far behind. TNC are just free to reset and try again. They did expand the shapeshift there earlier on. Not the longest cooldown. They have control of the map anyway. They can farm up. And Roche is up, so if they do scout that out, they could just go for that objective. CML.
Nerf this man!
Easy.
Your house slowly for him.
Drops a sentry though. Doesn't even get an obs out, fortunately, so they don't really have vision from that.
This is true. He is the chosen one. Dire structures are fortified. Hey, bad dudes, your little actions like this, Chuck Liver, forget about it. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Going.
Green Dude's top thing is about to get knocked over.
Yeah, they are getting time for their Ricky. They have managed to have Boomy farm into a Guardian Greaves. So a little bit more durability there. They will miss out on this Roche. Test this one. No vision on the map to see that anyway, unless they get the rocket flare off. Even then, it is already too late. Push once more, going the way of TNC. Adroit still making a way there.
Someone explain to me why Radiant had to go and kill him.
Denied.
That's a twofer. This is true. He is the chosen one. Boost, godlike. Bad Dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
Yeah, it's not enough with what Adroit is doing here. Good try. They're gonna have to try to defend, not even this set of racks. They have to defend their last set of racks or the tier 4s. And it does feel like Adroit is being pushed back further and further. 15k lead for TNC. Very clinical play coming from them. Just slowly whittling away at Adroit, and the response from Adroit just not strong enough. They won't have the black hole for the next fight. They have a lot more to TNC to play with.
That bottom tower you bad dudes had was crap anyway, don't sweat. Own it! Godlike! Own it! Dire's bottom barracks are under attack. Yo, Green Dude, something bad.
Really different looking team compared to the series yesterday. Turning it around 22-7, 17k, 2-0ing the series at under 25 minutes.